Welcome everyone to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen a DNN Hot Take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement and we like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, movie, or a game. Today, it's a TV show, and that TV show is Invincible Season 4. Here to discuss, as always, a fellow Viltrumite, Chris Tria.
You know, Cooch, I was actually
What if we just...
I was literally just...
shaved?
I think you just read my mind. I was like, man, we missed a trick here. We could have just done stashes. Maybe next year. Maybe for the next podcast.
I was thinking about the thumbnail. I was like, what if I, took off our beards? Which I think I could do.
Like a Henry Cavill. Like a mustache, if you will.
Yeah.
Justice League, yeah.
Except the opposite.
Right. No, they took off his mustache. Because he had a mustache.
I would be
remember?
leaving our mustaches.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, but you'd be removing the beard. Right.
I could try that.
I'm sure it would be... I'm curious how that would
actually... I think AI
look.
would make it a lot easier than you think.
Maybe it would, yeah. It's probably gotten much... The facial hair removing technology, I hope, would have improved by this time, since Justice League.
But speaking of improvements, let's get into Invincible Season 4. There's a lot to talk about. We've been going at this show a little bit now. We're very much into the rigmarole.
4 seasons deep.
Yeah. We're into this pretty deep in terms of the story, in terms of the animation, what's going on. Not that it's formulaic, but we know what to expect from Invincible. And what did you think about Season 4?
Let's get into it, Gooch. So, Invincible Season 4. I think this is a show that's been, super strong off the bat since it premiered, I guess, all the way back in 2021 at this point.
No, really?
I think it was 21 or it might have even been 20.
Okay.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Season 4 of Invincible. I got to say, I have not really caught up or kept up with the comics. I've been reading Compendium 1, and I think I've said this.
Oh, you have started.
Yeah, no, I'm more than halfway through the first compendium. I just need to, finish up. And for next season, like I was mentioning off camera, I want to catch up to where this season finishes and then kind of read weekly with us as the next season releases. But
cool.
Season 4, I think it was a really big step up for me as far as narrative goes. I liked the kind of focusing in on the Viltrumite War, Mark's heritage, and him kind of being like, all right, I got to lock in here. I got to actually do something about this. It's not going... If I just ignore the Viltrumite problem, it's not going to go away. There were a lot of surprises for me, actually. I think some very interesting reveals, especially when it comes to the Viltrumites themselves. I think Thrag was a really amazing addition by the end of this season. Starts off a little lukewarm, but then really kind of drives it home in the next episode we see him in.
Literally.
Genuinely.
Literally drives it home.
Literally.
Through the planet.
Yeah. There's a lot of really great stuff going on in this season. And we'll get into it. I think the downside is the animation, as we talk about every season.
Always
I've talked about this before. I do think
armchair animator.
The armchair animators do step out. They step out every season, which, don't get me wrong, I think some of it is genuinely fair, but I feel like we've gotten to the point with the series where it's every single thing. It's almost the only conversation or topic of conversation every week, to a point where I don't think it's very fair. But that introduction episode of Thrag, I will say, even some scenes with his face, I was like, what's going on here? What's the decision of why does this look like this? But I digress. I really enjoyed the season. I could go on and on. What did you think, Cooch?
I really liked it as well, but there are some lows. I think the beginning of the season, more like episode 3 and 4, right before the Viltrumite War really kicks off. But that one episode where they're in hell, I was like, is this a joke? That's not exactly a comic book storyline, so that's kind of new-ish in a way, and I'm just like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? Are they really falling for 2 or 3 minutes? Are we serious? Are we really doing this? And I'm like, this is where where it's I'm being critical of the animation, and it's just and you see the clips online of people really, getting into
look at this fan version I made.
That and Blade Runner, zoom.
Sure.
You go in, and it's just that was a decision to make them fall for 2 minutes and just talking, and there is no animation happening. That was a conscious decision, and it's why?
Because that was the joke. That whole scene was, and him putting it when he put his mask on. That's the joke, is that they're falling for so long that he needs to put his mask on.
But it's kind of like Marvel making the She-Hulk joke like Wakanda and like the
Yeah.
or Wakanda Forever. Like it's like in that same vein. It's like, guys, your animation could be a lot better. We know that. There's a problem here clearly. Maybe it's budgeting. I've always made the opinion that they're blowing a lot of money on a lot of famous voice actors for like the one episode role that they're in.
So I will challenge you on that. Like, who are these like very famous people they're spending a lot of money on?
So like in the first season, off the top of my head with the fourth season, I couldn't tell you. But like Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in one episode as Conquest.
Right, but like, is he like an A-list actor? Like that's bringing in the bucks? Like my only problem with that line of thinking for me is
the
like,
Guardians of the Globe, when they get killed, they're all Walking Dead alum. So it's like bringing them in for like a few lines, like that's got to be more expensive than just going to get like actual voice acting talent rather than a regular actor.
Absolutely. I agree with that, but I just don't know that then leads to the I don't know if that then connects to the animation budget
I'm just saying,
and stuff like that.
There's a budget coming out of the same pool.
I think, and that's for sure. I would agree with that. And don't get me wrong, I think that that affects it somewhat. I'm not going to act like that doesn't at all. I think really what affects it is the time. We get these yearly now. If you go back and watch that first season, it's noticeably more quality in a lot of ways when it comes to the animation.
Well, it's a different animation
studio. It's a different animation studio, but also that animation studio had like 2 to 3 years to work on it. Each one of these gets, I don't know, about a year to a year and a half.
Kirkman made Skybound animation, and it's a new team.
Yeah, and they're definitely taking some shortcuts on some things. I guess it comes down to the idea of, and if it is for you, that's fair. But for me, I'm never really. There were only a few moments where I was truly taken out of it by it.
I'm never really taken out of it, but sometimes I am really. The
Thrag stuff took me out for sure in certain spots. So again, I digress. I get it. I don't think it's an unfair one.
And when we're watching a show like Maul Shadowlord at the same time, and that animation is, I mean, they perfected that Clone Wars style for like 15 years. Like they've had a lot of time to hone that style, but like. Maul is like, this show is so detailed. Like I am actually stunned how good this looks.
Yeah.
It would be, it'd be interesting to see, if they're like season 5 for some reason, like they really made a step up where like everything is noticeably better.
And I think to do that, they'd have to be like, we're pushing this back halfway. Like this won't be a yearly release. I think that's kind of what they'd have to do, which is fine. But again, I think for the most part, the animation keeps me in it, and when it matters, they really kind of knock it out of the park, especially when it comes to, I don't know, a lot of the action for me. Like that fight in episode 7, or is it 8? The penultimate.
The penultimate, yeah.
Is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It looks great. And then like you see someone post of like, this is what it could have looked like. And it's like, yeah, I get it. It could be more stylized. It could look more like an anime, but that's not the style they're going for. They chose the style. They're going with it.
They're really taking off of Ryan Otley, his art aesthetic. I see it in Thrag. I see it in Mark now more than I ever have. And Ryan Otley's style, I think, really comes to form later in the comic, not in the beginning, because it's a different artist.
Well, and I feel like everyone's a lot more, at least watch or reading the earlier comics and the compendium.
You'll see it as you get farther in.
You do see how people's body types changes too, but like even Mark, and I haven't gotten to Oliver in the comic yet as an adult, so I'm curious about that. But from the pictures that I've seen, and even Mark, like everyone's much more lanky, for lack of a better term, in certain ways. Even the way Omni-Man's drawn in the earlier versions.
I don't want to talk about the suit.
He looks.
The suit guy.
Oh my god! But Omni-Man in the comics, like he's got a very much like a dad bod in the first couple issues. Like he's very stout and like
I gotta go look
and like
at
wide
it
and I'm like, okay, I like that style, but he's much more kind of classically Superman statured by the end of the comics and also within the show.
Right.
And yeah, apparently his suit was blue and red.
Yeah,
I can't get over that. No. And it was one of those things that truly.
No.
Because I just went back and I'm like, this suit is white and red. And then I opened up the compendium. I'm like, no, it's not. And it is. It comes back to the color theory thing. It's the specific type of red I feel like he chose too. It's like almost a salmon red. So when you put it against that blue, it makes it look white. But then when you're really looking at it in a scene with other white suits, you're like, oh, it's absolutely blue.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is like a Bernstein Bear situation.
Well, and it's just funny the way he revealed it, because he like tweeted at someone and he's like, well, that's why Omni-Man's original colors were blue and red. And someone was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, since when?
But speaking of Omni-Man, I was gonna say.
I was gonna say, let's put the animation stuff aside.
Yeah, of course,
I think we've said enough. Go for it.
Yeah,
What do you wanna say
Omni-Man.
about Omni-Man,
It's
Mr.
been
Nolan?
interesting, kind of watching his journey through this season. I like this idea of a Superman character who's lived for thousands of years, kind of being changed by just 20 years on Earth with this woman, and his interactions with Debbie specifically was very interesting. And just that idea of like
I was thinking about Krieg.
Creek. All the Viltrumites are very, I think, specific and interesting. But
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed Nolan's journey throughout this whole season. Like, he's kind of dealing with Mark. He's even his interactions with Oliver specifically I loved, because you don't get a lot of them. He did leave Oliver.
A little bit different in the comic too.
Is it interesting? So, and even I like that moment where he's talking to Debbie and he's like, that was a mistake. But then Oliver hears that and he's like, was I also a mistake? And it's like, fuck.
That's different in the comic too. The way him and Debbie interact for that first time.
That's what I've heard. I heard
I'm-
she's much more like receptive
Yes.
of him coming
Yeah,
back
okay, so
immediately.
Yeah. And
Paul doesn't exist in the comic, right? Or does he?
No, I think he does. But I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure there is she definitely tries to date again.
But is he like introduced
I
as
don't-
like a character?
I don't remember. And if he is, he's short-lived.
Right, yeah.
Because I
Even
was
in
like,
this, yeah.
when she's like, oh, me and Paul broke up months ago, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, because like I'm like, in the comic, like there's no like, I'm like trying to remember, like, is Paul, whatever. Things do change in the comics, like a lot of little things. Like Mark and Nolan and Oliver interact a little bit differently in that part. It's like he doesn't ignore him when he comes back to Earth. Like they do have a conversation.
Right.
It's like little things. Tech Jacket obviously is a big one. I don't really know how I feel about Tech Jacket being a girl. I think it just kind of opens up Tech Jacket to be humorous. Because Tech Jacket in the comics is very much not. Very serious character. Apparently, the reason they gender bended him into her is because he looks like Mark.
And he did look
But
exactly
he's
like
also
Mark.
in the Tech Jacket form like all the time. And he's like a majorly small character. Like Tech Jacket after the Viltrumite War is not a big player
Right.
in the comic.
Well, even like from what I saw from a short on YouTube, he's not even a very big player even in the actual war. Like once he gets there, he's kind of doing exactly what she does in the show for the most part.
Yeah, it's just like it's like another
I thought that was
person
kind of,
on screen.
Can I be honest? I thought it was more of an option for a love interest for like Oliver or something like that.
I don't think
Which
so.
I think they're gonna do the lobster thing apparently, which I do know about. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I've heard.
he dates an
even that
alien.
moment when he's talking to his dad, like to Nolan about the lobster
they
and
allude
everything.
to it, yeah.
But again, I like this idea of Nolan coming back to Earth, and he's genuinely changed. He's genuinely trying to apologize for people or to apologize to people. And that moment when he has to meet the guy, Mark Hamill, who makes his costumes, and he just talks, and he's like, and Mark Hamill's just the entire time just like petrified. But Nolan doesn't even register
What's
to
his
Nolan.
name?
I can't remember. And it's just such an interesting scene because like he's having this conversation. You can tell that Nolan found him to be like an actual friend, and he wanted to go visit him and say his piece and have a drink with him. But even in that moment when like, even through all that, and he's like, yeah, maybe you can make me a new costume when I'm back here. And he's like, I only make costumes for heroes, Nolan. And then Nolan's like, oh, okay.
And then he flies away, and that's in the comic too, where he like lets
and he's like,
go.
and it's like, yeah, I mean, dude, what Nolan did, when you really do think about it, is fucking insane. But it was just so insignificant at the time to him that I think that journey from that version of Nolan to him actually caring about even the most insignificant life is what is so compelling to me in the show. But yeah, I really liked him a lot this season.
What do you think about the oh my god, what's it called? The Coalition of Planets suit that he has. I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
He's got his weird it for a while.
He's got his weird. He's got some weird cankles going too. He's got really thick ankles. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's like the fact that he doesn't have shoes. Because in the comics, I was like, why doesn't he not have shoes?
Yeah, why aren't you wearing shoes, pal? Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a strange choice, but they'll ditch that.
Yeah.
So fear not.
I guess one other problem I do have with this show sometimes, and I think it showed itself a little bit here, but then kind of quickly fixed itself, was the power scaling of it all. Like, I don't know how powerful the Viltrumites are sometimes. Sometimes Thrag will rip another Viltrumite.
Seems much more powerful than I thought, or even in the comics.
So does he, in the comics, does he like pull in the air like that? Is that like a thing that
I don't remember.
I would love to interview Otley or talk to him because I'm curious why he decided to draw the line on these Superman people at like the extra abilities. Like, they're super strong, they can fly, they're fast, and they're invulnerable. But they don't have heat vision, they don't have like a super breath. They don't have any of those kind of like extra Superman stuff.
Secondary.
Yeah. And I'm curious as to why he decided not to go with that. I think half the reason just even like a character like Homelander is so scary is because he can just laser you out of nowhere. But in this, I think they do a good job of like, they just move so fast that they will crush your spine in an instant. Right. And you won't even realize what's going on. Or for
the audio viewers, we have our hands in the spear formation.
Yes. Yeah. And another thing I did love was the fight with Conquest. I got it. That's one I think. What did you think about like that whole scene, especially seeing it translated from the comic?
It was fantastic, and I think the way like I think it's better in the show in the comics. I don't think art on the page can really like the guts falling out and him just like pulling them out and like. That on the page,
the sounds that he's making,
it doesn't translate quite as well because it lingers on it a long time, and it's very uncomfortable, and hard to watch. And the Conquest rematch is cool in the comics, but like in the show, I think the medium is a much better form for that moment.
It just gives you that visceral, like I think I said it in the group chat after it happened. I'm like, that made me more uncomfortable than anything we've seen in The Boys. For some, I don't know why. I guess it's because like the viscerality of it and like a bit more realness of it. The way they are both on the same power level. Conquest is just trying to fight to stay alive. Mark's just holding on for dear life, and he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna squeeze this guy's heart, and he just fucking goes through, pulls out all his guts, and that's what I assume he's trying to reach up and grab his heart behind his ribcage and just fucking pop it. And he stops him just in time. And then that moment when they roll up on him and he's just like fucked up, I'm like, damn. So, and that was another thing that kind of put in perspective for me. I'm like, oh, so Viltrumites really can kind of heal from a lot. About anything. Yeah, like I mean, even like the Conquest reveal, I did not realize he would just heal up like that and then get out of there.
Yeah. It seems so stupid.
It does feel so stupid.
Even in the comic, it's like, really?
Why would you do that?
Like, you imprison him and he's gone.
Immediately. Immediately, and what did you think was going to happen, Cecil? You have to, like, I get it. He wants to use everything in his arsenal. But yeah.
So two arcs that are sort of at the beginning of the show. Dinosaurus. Any thoughts to that? It's not much, so I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't have much.
No, it's not. So it was a guy who like transforms into a dinosaur man, right? And he wants to. Is he from the future or something?
The dinosaur pretend like the human form is like Mr. Hyde.
Oh, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's the human form's Dr. Jekyll. Mr. Hyde is the dinosaur, or vice versa.
Sort of like the opposite.
Oh, interesting.
So the dinosaur is like really smart, hyper intelligent, like a totally like almost like Hulk in a way too, but the opposite.
So did the dinosaur turn himself into a human, or did the human turn himself into a dinosaur?
I don't necessarily know how the power works, but as a dinosaur, he's a threat. As a person, he is not.
He's not, right. Interesting. Because he seems to know something like Invincible is causing it. Or is it like, I didn't know if it was like a, what's his name from the last season who kills his family, Powerplex. Like if it's like he saw something happen.
It's not necessarily like Powerplex, but
will it come up later again?
He will come back.
Okay.
He's going to be one of the next big things. And what did you think about, holy shit, who else did I say? Dinosaurs and...
I didn't hear the other one. I will say, to go back to the Hell episode really quick, I thought the design of the armor, the Hell armor itself, was very dumb and Tron-y. I didn't get it. But I actually kind of liked the overall episode. I think you can get away...
Not me. Didn't like it at all.
You can get away with certain things in the comic medium when it comes to like doing a sidebar story, and I think it's a bit more acceptable to people than like when it comes to like a TV season. I don't know, because like if that's just a kind of sidebar comic, issue, you kind of move on. You go to the next one.
Kind of what it felt like.
And I don't know.
Invincible does that a lot.
It does. And I know I did read an interview with Kirkman, and that was a plot line he wanted to do in the comics, apparently, that he wanted to explore more and didn't get to.
Which is fine. Yeah. The other people I didn't say it, but I thought about it. Monster Girl and Rex. or not Rex, but Robot.
Right. So what was happening? Oh, they're stuck in the other alien world. Right. Okay.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Because again, like there's a lot of
are they the Thraxans or no?
Flaxen.
Flaxen. Are there Thraxans too? Or is that the bug people?
Maybe. Yes.
Come on, Kirkman. Flaxen and Thraxans. Come on.
Yeah. So like that's going to come back as well. But like two plot lines that are quickly introduced and quickly done and over with in this season that it's like you might think it's like where's that going? You'll see.
Even the squid one, I did feel like I was like, oh, they're back.
Right. I feel like Kirkman does that a lot with Invincible, where there's a lot of things that like the Flaxens from the first episode, like they come back like 2 or 3 or 4 times, and then they're done. The Sequids were done. Pretty confident with the Sequids.
Yeah.
But they come back like 2 or 3 or 4 times.
I did like what that
and
had
Doc
to...
Seismic.
Right, yeah,
another example. Yeah.
I did like what that scene kind of had to do thematically for Mark, where he had to make the choice to kill the innocent guy to save the entire world.
Yeah.
And I think like he's kind of accepting now. He's like, I'm just gonna have to make that decision sometimes. Like it's just part of the job. And I like that we're finally over this thing of like, am I gonna kill or not?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's such a typical superhero trope.
Well, I think it's
Daredevil's exploring.
Well, I was going to say,
I'm interested to talk about that with
2000 specifically. That feels like a very heavy like superhero trope, where it's like, can I kill and be my except for like your people like a Batman or a Superman, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I did like seeing us move past that. I loved getting back to the blue and the yellow. I gotta say, I like the black and blue, but it's not as. It's
definitely like a symbol of the arc,
right? Yeah,
right. It's interesting that they
and
decided to. You don't usually you see suit changes, but never 1 to 2 back to 1.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta say, overall, I don't know if we ever talked about them. I do really like the suits in general for this whole universe. I think, especially when it comes to the comic book, they got a style. They're a bit garish, especially Invincible's. Like his outfit's fucking silly, but I love it. I like his goggles. I think it's a little impractical, but that's kind of part of the point. Like it's a good looking outfit. But it was nice to get back to the blue and the yellow for sure. You saw my Invincible ship in Starfield, and then I made the little rover Oliver's colors, black and red. So
that's cute.
Yeah, it is very cute. But yeah, I do think this was a super strong season. To get back to Thrag though, really quick too, I'll give Lee Pace.
I wasn't
a lot of credit.
When we first saw him, I'm like, miscast. I'm like,
initially I was with it.
this at all.
Yeah.
And then we get to that penultimate episode and the final episode, and I'm like, okay, Lee Pace has earned his spot.
He's got it. Yeah.
Sorry, Lee, I'll back up.
And then I got in Mikush. I did not. There was a lot of like plot threads here that I just did not expect. I did not expect them to, full spoilers here, destroy Viltrum. That was not on my bucket list.
You expect them to go there?
Not necessarily that early. No, I didn't expect us to kind of resolve a lot of this that early. I was like, man, why doesn't that guy with the gun, never-ending gun, shoot the planet?
Yeah,
he did.
He did.
He shot the planet. That's awesome. And then even that moment when they're fighting Thrag, and when he's like, and they're like, Optimus Prime,
Peter Collins.
Peter Collins, like, surrender. It's your only option. And then Thrag's like, I choose death. Like. It's so fucking great, man. And even the resolving of him coming back to Earth. I thought that whole last episode, I saw some people...
The Viltrumites going back there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or going to Earth?
To Earth after this, I should say.
Yeah.
And them choosing to kind of let Mark go, but sorry, you can jump in.
Yeah, no, I want to hold that
I'm firing off.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. It happens. I did want to take us back to... the Scourge virus.
Yes, that was
also a lot of new stuff. We never see any of this Viltrumite shit in the comics at all.
Oh, really?
You don't see Argyle ever. You hear about him. You don't see him.
Oh, interesting.
The stuff with Nolan as a kid.
Megatron, by the way.
Yeah. Like everything we see of like past Viltrum is totally new, and I really liked it. I really think it was a good addition. It was nice to visualize what Viltrum was like, because I feel like I'm watching that penultimate episode in the flashbacks with sort of like the Viltrumite at I guess the peak of their power, and then Thetis doing the betrayal and them falling to shit, and it's like they are so despicable and like idiots. I'm like, what are they doing?
Well, it's funny.
They're just like eviscerating each other. Like I'm like, this is insanity. I'm like, they're so far up their own ass, like they don't realize how like their strength like almost is their weakness
to a degree, but also like it is what's kept them alive for so long. Because really, them culling their own herd isn't even the thing that really causes their downfall. It's the scourge. And I kind of like that idea.
It's a bit of both.
I feel like, to me, I guess from my read of it,
they're so deluded that they like let themselves like get to this point where like somebody in their own midst created a virus to wipe them out.
Yeah, but I think like without that, they still would have been just as strong. I guess I don't think that culling hurts them, and I think that even that kind of logic that Thrag goes through, where he sees Argyle get assassinated by Thetis. And
always thought it was Thaddeus, by the way.
That's funny. That makes sense.
Thetis? Okay.
But you see him having that questioning moment with Argyle where he's like maybe Thrag, and he's like, I feel like I'm sensing some weakness in him. I feel like I should take him out, Thetis. And Argyle's like, do what you feel. And Thrag's like, nah, it's probably nothing. It's fine. He then learned after that he can't even accept the slightest bit of weakness.
Right. And then there's that one random Viltrumite. He's like, you could turn. I won't.
Yeah. And then he's like, all right, everyone kill each other until there's about so many of you left. I'll come out and stop it. Oh, sorry, Siri. And I don't know. I like that journey. But then there is this kind of interesting idea of like, they are these hardened, terrible space Nazis, but then they spend like 10 years on a planet, 20 years on a planet. And it's like, I'm cool now. It's like, this never happened before.
Well, think about it. Yeah. They're so taken away from like any sort of loving emotionality that like they kind of like imagine like you've never had an ice cold Coca-Cola before, and you have the ice cold Coca-Cola and you're like, holy shit, how have I gone this long without it? Krieg's already on Earth. A little bit different in the comics. They show him on the motorcycle with a cigarette, but not with a girl. And he's already
knee deep.
They're alluding to something. I won't spoil it. But I'm just like, dude, Thrag's already getting it in.
Yeah.
Like he's wasted no time. He's like, this is sick.
And dude, even that whole confrontation. I love this idea that they found this new planet with, people who are basically just lesser versions of them that are very compatible with them. And he's like, dude, we're going to fuck and go crazy. And you just gave us basically a new home. Look at us now. And I think that's such an interesting idea in and of itself. And so it's not a direction I thought this was going to go at all.
It's very interesting because you think like, oh, like in the comic I'm reading, I'm like, oh, like Thrag, they're going to go destroy Earth. And I like how they give you those Mark hallucinating like not once, twice, like 3, 4,
I love
5
those,
times
yeah.
To like,
straight up PTSD.
Eve, his mom,
yeah.
Cecil, like everybody he's really like talking to, he gets this like, like this PTSD episode with, and it's like, holy shit, is this actually happening? And then the last one with Thrag when he's flying, and it's like, this is the real one.
And I love that he actually attacks him, and Thrag's just like, dude, just relax, okay, hear me out. And then he goes through the whole thing, and I'll give him like, again, it's that situation of like Mark just like, so Thrag presents his opportunity to Mark of like, listen, we're gonna live among you, we're not gonna interfere at all, but we're gonna procreate and create a whole new generation of Viltrumites. You're proof that works. Thanks. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine, but we'll kill billions of people and kind of make it, the same. We'll do the same thing, but not as pleasantly. And then Mark just has to have this moment of like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Yeah, just say yes.
Really no
there's
option.
There's nothing. There's death or continuation, and it's like, yeah, obviously you just have to go along with it, even if it's for the moment. But I like that moment of Thrag flying away, and he's like, funny, like you were gonna be like the doomer of our race, but you end up being our savior. It's funny how the universe works, and it's like,
he flies away. Yeah, I don't. In the comics, I think Thrag does not go to Earth like the other Viltrumites, like Nissa and Thula.
So that interaction doesn't happen in the comic?
No, it does.
Oh, yeah.
But Thrag is not a part of the Viltrumite repopulation.
On Earth,
he just leaves.
I think I did see some spoilery stuff of like where he ends up. And because I've seen like people are posting more panels now. I have to mute Invincible on Twitter.
Yeah, you will.
Because I saw one where he goes somewhere and does something.
Okay, that tells me nothing, but exactly. I know what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's an interesting culmination that you like. Just like, why would you see that coming? It's not the first option. And it's even like them. I think you're right with them going to Viltrum, and they're on their back foot. Like, we got those fucking red monster things. We got Space Racers, Tech Jacket, Oliver, Nolan, and Invincible, plus Alan.
Thetis.
Yeah. It's like, this is the time to strike. And they sort of
I was not expecting Thetis to die like that either.
Yeah, same thing.
Just decapitate. Oh, yeah. Wow.
And that
so good.
Yeah, and Alan becomes the leader of the Coalition of Planets. Same deal.
And then we find out that the Scourge virus, which we kind of assumed throughout, which I assumed throughout at least this season of
he still has it.
Well, of course we know he has it, but he's planning on using, he wants to use that shit.
Right, and Nolan picks that up pretty quickly.
But I do like the extra reveal that this will kill people who are of a similar genetic makeup. And that to me means that will kill Earthlings too, right? That will harm humans. Or does that mean it only harms half Viltrumite, half humans?
I don't know.
Because the way he implied it was that even humans will die from this because they
think it's the
of
idea that
similar genetic makeup.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So
that's
Mark's race will
a reasonable
too.
conclusion.
Yeah, right? That's what I was thinking. And I think that's an interesting reveal to me. And it comes back to this thing of I don't know, Gooch, does genocide make genocide okay?
Well, that's this is all about, Attack on Titan is all about this.
Yeah.
Where your main character, who is the character you're rooting for, comes to a point where it's I need to wipe out the entire world in order to save my own people who were victims of a genocide and a Jewish Holocaust kind of situation, is wiping out the rest of humanity the right thing to do. And it's I don't know.
An eye for an eye. Does that always work, or will that make the world go blind?
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's interesting thoughts. It really is. Again, I think there's a lot of cool and thoughtful deconstruction going on here when it comes to the superhero genre, and it's in such a different form than Your Boys or something like that.
This is where the comic gets really good, and when it really starts honing in on the bigger picture stuff, the smaller picture stuff. I mean, if that's what you like Invincible for, we're getting away from a lot of that. And you know what arc that I didn't like in the comic and I didn't like in the show, the Titan stuff with the mob.
Yeah, I agree.
Every time they show up, I'm just get the fuck out of here.
I totally agree.
And in the comic, it happens too, and I'm just this is so irrelevant.
I just don't care. Yeah, I don't care.
So we have so much bigger fish to fry. And speaking of bigger fish, wow, that was horrible. That's a horrible segue.
Oh no,
to Eve.
Oh.
I didn't really intend to say it like that, but
I mean, I don't. That's it. No.
So they do this in the comics where the weight thing.
Yeah,
I fucking love that.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. Yeah, no, the weight thing.
I wasn't trying to make fun of her. I think it's a really interesting way to do a female character. When have you ever seen a female character gain weight?
Well, you know why they did that, right? Because Otley liked drawing big women at the time. That's
I didn't know that.
That was the major. He was just I just felt like drawing her big. So I just wanted to, and then that's also part. I think they also leaned into I mean, I felt like it was part of
the trauma,
the abortion storyline, and all that. That's where I thought you were going.
But you never,
she's home, she's not using her powers, she's not in the best of shape because she's
right. But when have
Mark's
you
gone.
Again think of an MJ character or any sort of character where they've gone through an arc where part of it is somebody goes away and they come back and they've gained weight. It's just interesting. It's so simple, but you don't really see that.
Well, it's a good moniker of time passing, and I think a series like this can get away with it more than a Spider-Man because you don't have to reset the status quo every time. This is Invincible. I do love because it's a complete and whole progression and one story. It's not all right, we're doing a new Spider-Man storyline, so we kind of have to reset whatever back to the status quo, and Mary Jane needs to look like Mary Jane again, and all that blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
I like that aspect.
I really like the way they sort of allude to her pregnancy and her powers getting weird. It's an interesting way to go about it, and you don't really automatically think, oh, she's pregnant. You're oh, when she came back from Conquest fucking her up, something happened. It's no, she was it's because she's growing something inside of her.
No, that makes sense. Her body's literally going through a chemical change. Yeah.
And they do similar things happen in the comic where she gets an abortion during that time. And I love Eve as a character, and I think the way they treat her as they go is like very interesting. It always feels sort of fresh. Like
Right.
they're always like kind of doing. She's not just like a Mark Dick sucker. No offense.
Yeah.
Like
She has much more agency.
Yeah, she's doing a lot more. It's not like, or even in like Dune, where in the books or like the older movies where like Chani is just
Yeah, she's just there.
for Paul. Like it's the opposite, where like he very much has
She plays her
different
part.
things to say.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and it's just not just like, always for
Go get him,
Invincible.
Tiger.
Yeah. It's much more different, especially if things evolve and change and like the story progresses. But anyway,
I think that's it. I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
pause.
Yeah.
There's probably other things to say.
I
like-
mean, there's of course always going to be.
yeah, there's.
But I think we've kind of covered. Like, we covered the war. I think we got the Thrag. We covered Nolan.
not a lot of Cecil in this.
Not a lot of Cecil at all. I would have thought he would have been a bit more upset with Cecil coming back. Mark, about Conquest.
You kind of realize that like the beef they have just becomes such a drop in the bucket.
Well, but I also
it's so irrelevant.
well, and I think they do a good job of explaining to Mark and explaining to us as the audience as to why Cecil is the way he is, and he's not really. He is the best quote unquote version of a government official you would hope for in this situation. Like, he is genuinely trying to do the best possible thing to get the best possible outcome that might cause some people to die, but 5 people will die instead of 20 billion.
I
don't
like
know.
the scene where he confronts Nolan at the crater. I don't think that's in the comics, but I really like that, especially when you hear like the "think, Mark."
Yeah.
You know, that
And he's
whole
kind of
speech,
going through it all,
which is
yeah.
like kind of a meme outside of it, but it was interesting to hear it like in the show again, and like
It is
I'm like,
funny
yeah,
how
that was kinda
memes
powerful.
turn like incredibly traumatic moments in movies and shows into just very funny things. Like, even like when we went back and watched Interstellar, there's so many like very somber moments that have just been turned into memes.
Yeah, with him in the
He's
in the
driving away
bookcase.
from, but
Murph.
yeah. No, I like that scene a lot too, and their interaction, and even that moment when he apologizes to Cecil, and Cecil's like, I mean, it means something, Nolan. I don't think it means enough, but like, it's something at the very least, so I appreciate it. I don't know. A very good interaction for sure. Anything else there, Gooch?
No, interesting. Total. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Somebody tried to change our password on DNN on our Instagram and sent us a thing that said, "We got a request to change your password. Let us know if this wasn't you."
You know, it's so funny. I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit does happen. It's all right. Yeah, no. I like this season overall. I like where it's going. Again, I think we're getting into the best part. I think probably like season 3 was kind of weakest for me.
I would agree. When
like
he was trying to go to college and all that shit was when I was like,
It's still normie.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's still
like he's trying to be a normal kid, and it's like,
yeah,
you're not a
and
normal
like
kid.
we're very much we're
past
out of
that.
that.
Yeah.
It's all going to be big stuff from here on out. It's just the question of, is it, when are we going to get the next season? Are we going to have to wait a while? Because
They said they're aiming for
always been, I mean, at least 1 to 2.
That's been the only. Now it's been very consistent. It's been a yearly release.
3 to 4 has been consistent. But
2, 3, and well, since I'm sorry, you're right. I guess between the release
and
of
then
1
and
two.
then they half seasoned it. That was a big mistake.
And they were like, we're not doing that again. So
Yeah,
no, they
yeah.
seem. I'm
think we're
pretty
on the-
sure they've already announced that it's going to be like May or June of next year or something like that.
yeah,
so.
we're on the right path.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I can't wait to actually catch up on the comics too.
I love the music they end up using, like the Run song. Yeah, we run every yeah, like they always pick some like.
It
good
has
tracks.
a specific vibe.
We won't bring up David for obvious reasons.
Oh, God.
That's a good song, and that that worked. Yeah, I feel like their pick of score is always or not score, but
Song choice.
third-party songs.
Yeah, no, it
yeah.
lines up with with the mood for sure.
Yeah, I wonder, they did that Adam Eve special. I wonder if they're gonna do anything like that ever again.
I don't know. Who else would they do it with?
Again, if the show is going on too long and it's just like, hey, we want.
Do they do an Alan the Alien one?
They could. I think like
They kind of
could do a
show
check
his.
jacket
They
one.
showed his like origin though, right? In the show, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
And they do in the comics.
Yeah,
too.
like he's like genetically engineered, right? Yeah.
Yeah. A Unopin.
Anything else though,
He's
Gooch?
a Unopin trio.
How you open?
It's me, Optimus Prime.
That reveal of him pulling off his beard to Alan is still so good. You're a Viltrumite? Like, that's how you know? That's what he like.
because he has a mustache.
Anyways, thank you all for watching with us. If you've been with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network, we really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, Discord channel, all that good stuff will be linked down below. You can find us on all the social medias at Delco Nerds on everything with an @sign. You can email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. You can find all this information on our website as well, delconerdnetwork.com. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy. We will see you next time.